I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I came to play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me, then I double up again, none of their knows. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted, so I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke, I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Welcome to Startup on the Block. Glad to have you all here.
Thanks for having us, Lloyd.
Yes,
yeah, appreciate that invite.
yeah, we're in one of my favorite cities, Kansas City, Missouri.
Woohoo! Representing.
Yes. So glad to have you all on, and we're definitely excited to have another event, and let's get this show on the road. Yeah. So we uh, Startup on the Blocks. We do this event every week, and we have Thursday evenings, and the second hour here is Startup Founder Best Practices. So, and we want to give a shout out to our sponsors and that support what we're doing here and funding the pitch competitions and our educational stuff. And so we definitely appreciate all of the support of our founders and give a special shout out to Bantucola. They're our streaming partners. So the folks out looking on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and all those places. So we really appreciate the support of Chris. And Colab came on as a sponsor with our last pitch competition, and so that was pretty neat. So let's get to our guest tonight. So uh, Triumph and Cedric, would you all like to take a minute or two to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks, Lloyd. I'm Triumph Folks. I'm a software engineer and also the co-founder of Codago Academy, which is a fun gaming platform that teaches kids how to code. Our aim is to bring diverse programmers in the workforce by simplifying programming concepts to our K to 8 students.
Yeah, my name is Cedric Hibbler. I'm also a co-founder of Code Algo. Me and Trampia actually work together as well at a Fortune 500 company that was recently bought out by Oracle. But
Wow. Okay.
glad to be here today.
Yes. Yeah. That's fantastic. So what I wanted this next slide to kind of I tried to summarize what Startup on the Blocks was all about in one slide, and the you know on the the right over here there are a lot of things out in the startup ecosystem. I guess you all been finding that out, right, Cedric and Triumph?
Oh, yes.
So what are some of the things you all found out there in the startup ecosystem?
Well, I'll go. I'll take this.
Yes, I do.
The number one thing that all startups need is money,
Okay.
and when we talk to we had to meet the right people first, which involved the accelerator groups and
Hmm.
the um, different business owners, even that would guide us towards the where to even look for money because everything costs today.
Yes.
Even as technical founders, we can build so much and then still it costs. So.
Yes. So that's so money's out there. That's a good thing. What about you, Triumph?
Yeah, one thing I'm going to add there, I would say customer discovery, extremely important. Um, when myself and Cedric first started, we had this great idea and we were in the mode of build. And then we then started asking ourselves, well, what are we building? We can't build something without really understanding the problem. So
Mhm.
that led us into performing customer discovery and understanding the need of our potential customers to allow us to actually build something along with them
Yeah.
to be able to generate a product that can potentially bring out revenue.
So you all found a program out there to help you with that or make you aware of that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we were fortunate enough to have participated in a program sponsored by the NSF, National Science Foundation.
Hmm.
So they have a customer discovery program, and they take you through the entire step by step of all you need to know to perform a successful customer discovery. Because when you have an idea, all you have right now is just a hypothesis, and the
Yeah.
goal for you is to validate that hypothesis, is if it is indeed true, and if there really is a market for it.
Mhm.
So we were able to go through the process, and that helped us tremendously to
Okay.
narrow down um, what we should actually be looking at and also focusing on in terms of our customer segments.
Yes, and so there. So the way I describe this ecosystem out here is that no matter what stage you're at, there's some organization out there to kind of help you get to the next stage, and so that's what's really fascinating about So, but the problem, the challenge in being able to take advantage of these opportunities over here on the right is that you have to prepare, to take care of because all these opportunities on the right, they they speak the startup lingo. And so you have to you start learning what that startup lingo is all about. And so, we come in, trying to help founders, um, get get the right mindset and learn how to design a business model, and so they can actually communicate that on the applications that they fill out. When you all started filling out applications for some of these programs you all been involved in, did did you understand how to fill them out, or whatever?
I'll take that. I'll take that. So when we started filling these applications out, at first we were like, where do we even begin? We are also we are part of Goody Nation, and they
Yes.
have this amazing group of mentors that you can
Mhm.
network with,
Mhm.
and we took advantage of that 100%. When the mentorship and the guidance, they were able to help us with our application.
Oh,
Literally, we will fill out, myself and Sir will fill out some applications, but we weren't sure if we're using the right verbiage, are we being too broad, are we being too narrowed. And we will set up an hour call with a mentor. And
mhm.
there's one mentor that we've been working with a lot, and he is awesome. And
Okay.
he will literally go through the entire application. I'm not sure he does this for everyone, but we've been extremely grateful. And he went through the entire application with us and kind of correct that, okay, this is how you do it, and this is what you need to address. And with that information, we were able to learn from it and apply the exact same feedback on all ongoing application. And that has been, we've seen more successes with the feedback that we've gotten from mentors.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, we met through Goody Nation, and I was thinking you all were getting a lot of early success, and that sounds like a key point is actually knowing how to fill out the applications correctly, and to think that how did you all get connected to that mentor? What program was that?
Um, uh, I can't remember. I cannot remember the exact name, but I will send you the link. I'll send you the link after this.
So like it wasn't through the Goody Nation
It
mentor.
was through the Goody Nation. It was
Okay.
founders. Founders. There's a
Founders Library.
thank you. Founders Library.
Okay.
Yeah, Founders
Yeah.
Library.
So that alone, so, yeah, and I think you are the first one that I've ever heard of leveraging a mentor to teach you how to fill out an application. I hadn't really seen that. So most people just struggle and try to fill it out and don't grab a mentor. And so what do you think that particular mentor? Where do you think he actually got his experience from? It, did you have an insight or get an idea of what was his background or her background to actually help you with that?
So yeah, funny enough, there's actually a search box, and we just typed grant applications, and it
Okay.
just gave us a list of mentors, and we browsed through their experiences. And the person that we worked with, he had a pretty solid background in ed tech, since
Okay.
Colorado is pretty heavy in ed tech, and he's done grant applications. So leveraging his knowledge, just seeing the things that he's done, was just a key indicator. Okay, this might be the good person to help us.
Okay.
It was just the first trial, and I mean, he was just on point that we didn't have to go back and get someone else.
Wow,
So
fantastic. Yeah. So yeah. So I always like to dig a little deeper, not so get to the secrets. So I've had access to that Founders Library for I guess longer than you all have, and I've never taken advantage of that particular. So
Yeah,
that's pretty neat, huh?
yeah, it's good stuff. And I think the guy actually runs his own accelerator
Okay.
program.
yeah, so
So
pretty
yeah,
extensive. Yeah.
just a double win, to get that early boost into application writing. So
Yeah, that's really, really, really fantastic. And because like there's so many opportunities out there, and they all have this screening process. So if you can't articulate, your business model and what you're doing, the way the people that are reviewing your application expect to hear it, you have trouble. So it starts on the blocks. That's what we're here to try to help people understand these things, and so to increase your chances of having those successful applications. Yeah. So that's what the idea. We work with startup founders, traditional businesses, and when we work with traditional businesses, what we try to do is we try to help them see if they potentially have something that's scalable or have a spin-off product that might be scalable and that they can design a business model, a scalable business model around. And what I found too was that at Kukua Institute being a nonprofit, we found that there are accelerator programs and different programs for nonprofits as well. But they want what you're doing to be actually scalable. So that's a pretty neat thing. Yep. So yeah. So we had a pitch competition a couple of weeks ago, and so these are some of our winners. We like to do pitch competitions just to kind of lure the founders actually into the audience there. We we bring them into our internal programs and provide them mentors to kind of help them move forward.
That's awesome.
Yep. So
Congratulations to the winners.
yeah. So I guess we can first talk a little bit about and help the audience get to know you all. So like, Toronto, why don't you kind of tell us about your journey? What career path you took out of high school and or whatever, and then kind of like what led you to this founder stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you notice, I have a little bit of accent.
Yeah.
That's because I'm originally from Benin, which is in West Africa. So I grew up in Benin, and I mean, surrounded with extremely just wonderful minded and creative minded people. But one thing that I realized was very problematic was just lack of resources.
Mhm.
You see kids with great ideas for inventions, but they do not have the right resources. And when I mean they, I'm including myself, we didn't have the right resources to be able to build something. So fast forward, I came to the US to study.
Mhm.
And to my biggest surprise, I realized that it's actually also a problem among minorities. Um, I went to college, studied computer science, then got my first job, and then realized that wait a minute, it's not only a problem in Africa, it's not only a problem in college, but it's also a problem in the workforce. So Cedric and I, we work together, like he mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
and one thing that we realize is just the lack of diversity when we look at the workforce environment. And that's kind of how we decided to come up with this whole idea of Codalgo. And the goal is to be able to bring more diversity in the field um, and develop more problem solving skills and creativity. Um, it's been quite an interesting journey. Just being able to really understand different aspects of the ecosystem, and myself and Cedric had to actually take some few steps back and become teachers ourselves. We are also current teachers at a local boot camps where we teach kids how to code.
Okay.
And that is to really understand what does it really take to develop and build something to teach youth how to code, and especially when we start talking about minorities, what does it take to bring more minorities in this field? So that's a little bit of background about me and how we all got started here.
Yeah. So, like, what sort of led you to computer science? In college.
Yeah. So my parents both were actually entrepreneurs, crazy enough. So I actually started with business. I started with business administration, and then I had a lot of computer science friends, and they will all come to me with, "Hey, let's take a look at this problem. Hey, I have this problem. Let's just solve this together." And as I started solving it together with them more and more, a lot of them actually thought I was a computer science student, and I said, "No, I'm a business." And I personally got that influence from that. Like, hey, you should consider computer science. I think you'd be good at it. And I was like, yeah, let's try it out. And that's how I was able to make the switch for myself, and then was able to connect it back to Benin with those resources that I've always wanted to invent and things that I've always wanted to create. That hey, we can actually do it with this knowledge that we have.
Okay. 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 Cedric, what about you? What path did you take?
Yeah, funny enough, I told this to Tracy in our interview. I went to college as a music major.
Wow.
I
Okay.
used to play the drums, and
Okay.
it was all driven by like my older brother. He played the drums when
Okay.
I was like 7 years old, but it stuck with me enough to where I actually got scholarships to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gone, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a year or two of college, I wanted to, step back. I just bought my first ever computer,
Okay. Okay.
put that thing together, and at the same time, my music advisors were pushing for me to take 21 credit hours.
Wow.
I just wanted to take like 16, take a break, and they wouldn't let me. So I literally left that meeting, walked to the computer science building, and never looked back. So,
Yeah, that's how it remind me when I was my first couple of years. I was in Tallahassee at FAMU, and there was a electronics engineering technology, and this was they wanted you to like take like 18 to 20 quarter hours per quarter, and I thought, oh, yeah, that was like really demanding. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, but so did that to me, I would have thought computer science would have been just as demanding.
To be honest, it was since it was my first exposure, I think I just had a lot more passion to do more with it. And I had all that passion with music. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
just that I could slow down the pace, right? Like my first year, I took 12 to 14 credit hours, I want to say.
Okay.
And I realized I was like smarter than a lot of my peers in
Yes.
terms of what we were doing. We would have like little huddles and whatnot to work together and learn together.
Yes.
Um, and so, that kind of thing kind of keeps you going and gives you a
Yes.
little bit more drive once you realize, hey, you're actually kind of good at
Yeah.
at this thing.
Yeah. That music I think probably goes well with computer science. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah. So like did so your first job out of college, where did you end up? Or what did you end up doing?
Oh, actually, a Kansas City-based company. It's probably national, actually. H&R Block.
Okay. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. um, they honestly, I didn't need the degree to get that job because
Mhm.
I will say, as African American, it was definitely a struggle to get that first job with
Yeah.
even with the degree. I was doing like tech support for HR
Wow.
Block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done that from high school, really,
Hmm.
but and then out of the blue, Cerner called and you know kind of saved me. But it took a while to get that first,
Good job.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's. So what about your first job, Triumph?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm bilingual,
Mm-hmm.
and my first job was actually French and English translation.
Okay.
um, I was working. I started working for a call center and Canadian call center. So they will have some French. They'll have some French customers that I'll need to talk to, some glaucoma patients and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But right after that, I then got to Cerner, which is where Cedric and I are right now. And yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So the audience out there, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'll start answering those questions. So I guess the next big question is and you touched on it a little bit, but so when did the light bulb to- totally come on for about starting being a founder?
Cedric, you want to take that?
Oh, sure. Well, so I would say that it originated like Triumph. She's the big boss because her entrepreneur mind is what kind of came to me and said, "Hey, we should look into what she had already been thinking about, which is being able to teach kids how to code." And
Hmm.
this is a conversation we had in the workplace where we were. There's not a lot of African Americans in the building, and the ones that are there are doing low end jobs, and I'm referring to like tech support, like
Yeah.
call center level jobs for the most part, as opposed to getting the software engineer, even leadership roles. It's very rare if you
Hmm.
see that. So um, we talk all the time just naturally, and we're talking about different ways we could go with teaching coding, or I think we were talking a lot more about creating games as well early
Hmm.
on, and this it felt like the right fit because of our experience and wouldn't take a lot of demand just to show other African Americans what we already know and skip over the red tape to you know learn the things that you need to be successful doing what we already do.
Hmm.
So now we're just framing it with trying to find the right way to approach the market with schools who need to teach this. Really, we're looking for schools who are just getting started for the most part because they're going to be the best ones to take on a product like ours that's being developed for them, hopefully with them. And yeah, so we'll see what happens.
So you all were actually living this experience, not seeing a lot of people look like you in this similar position, and so that's sort of motivate you all to kind of get going with this type stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
correct.
And to add up to that, Cedric is the second big boss. um, yeah. So just to give you a perfect example, when I graduated from high school, I was not exposed to programming at all.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't even know there was such a thing called software engineering. I was not exposed to it. And, but, we've always had just the will of wanting to invent and build something, but not really knowing how to do that. In college, I was actually the only black girl of
Wow.
my entire cohort. It's pretty crazy for the
Wow.
entire. the entire program. And at first, I just thought it was just pure coincidence. And then I go to work, and still am the only black girl. um, Not the only girl, but at least when you talk about minorities.
Yeah.
Um, and then you start looking at stats, and you start seeing that, okay, this is a real problem.
Hmm.
Um, there are right now less than 5% of African American software engineers, which is pretty insane if you ask me.
Hmm.
Um, that's how we started asking ourselves, so how do we solve this problem? Like, where do we even start?
Hmm.
And through brainstorming, we came up with different ideas and different solutions of how to target this and tackle this thing.
Yeah. So you said you all were teaching these at these boot camps, teaching coding and stuff, but these were probably to adults, right? Or were they to
To
you?
kids,
Oh,
to
for kids.
kids. Yeah, yeah. I would say K through 5.
So you all do you all were doing boot camps for kids?
Kids, yeah, we're going to boot camps. So
Okay.
there are equity boot camps here locally in Kansas City,
Hmm.
and they have, I'd say, all the way through 12th grade, all the way
Okay.
to high school. And we started with the very little ones because those are the age groups that we're wanting to
Okay.
focus on right now.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So yeah. So I hear like here in Pensacola a few years back we had this thing called Coda Dojo, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a boot camp, but I guess it could potentially. But so when you say boot camp, is it for like a 1 week or weekend or 10 weeks? Or how, what is your
Yeah, I believe it goes forever,
okay?
but it's once every other week. So every other Saturday, we will go and teach this.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. And so were did you see many minorities in participating in these coding boot camps?
That's the great thing. They're all minorities.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Okay.
um,
So what did you see wrong with the, these boot camps that you all think you all need to start your own company to do it a different way or what?
Oh, no, no, nothing absolutely wrong with this boot camp. We wanted to be involved in our own community, and
Yeah.
especially the boot camps, to be able to understand, okay, what does it take to really teach a kid? Because, I mean, we have, as professions, we are developers, but we are not teachers. So to be able
Yeah.
to develop something that kids will be able to use, you have to understand how to learn
Yeah.
and how to teach them. So we became mentors to get pure experience and direct experience on what it actually takes to teach kids that are that young, and
Hmm.
understanding the kids, and also really just being in the same shoes as the actual teacher that will be using our platform to teach these kids.
Hmm.
So no, I would not say there's a problem with the boot camp, but it's more so understanding
Hmm.
the entire teaching experience.
Yeah, and I guess I would say there might be a problem, and that's just that not everyone we can't touch every kid, right? Like
Oh
the
yes,
boot camp
oh
is
yes.
limited to the number of people who show up and on that given Saturday, as opposed to a digital platform where
Yes.
Mm.
if you want to continue on and practice, like we're actually going to have the kids use our platform during the week as
Okay.
well. Anyone that can't make it, so
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what's you all's vision with Code Algo Academy?
long term or short term.
Yeah, long term. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, as we enter the workforce, right? We're going to the early kids for now because that's especially my own experience, right?
Okay.
Learning, seeing my brother play the drums led to a whole possible career in music,
Yes.
and if we have the same experience seeing someone learn like coding this young, maybe they'll expand into their own future or the future of the world, really, where jobs are changing constantly.
Hmm.
So instead of learning how to code when you get to high school and um, college, really. It's ideal to learn now so that by the time you get to college, you can start experimenting with the new technologies. And I'm thinking blockchain, NFTs, all these new things that are coming out today, um, as well as the things that will probably be taking those technology places in the next 10 years. So our main goal is to continue to develop people who are comfortable with technology and logical thinkers like ourselves.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yes. So the I I think I follow what you're saying there. But the so there are plenty coding platforms out there. I'm not sure about how many out there for kids, younger kids, but so what made you all think you actually need another um, coding type platform out there?
Um,
Yeah.
as an engineer, oh, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna mention, as an engineer, we always think we can make something better.
Okay.
Um, and we looked at our competitors. I mean, no disrespect or anything. I didn't really feel the games that were out there for the kids. They just seemed a little bit like we're looking at much stronger games and much more engagement in the classroom
Mhm.
than what we have.
Gotcha, gotcha. It looks like we got a first question here.
Question here.
Which one of y'all want to take that?
I can take that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, Versa. Right now, our the initial phase that we're pulling out is going to be for Scratch, and that's going to target. We're targeting right now the K-5 space, and we will be providing materials to be able to teach this contents to the kids that falls within that. But eventually, our goal is to be able to have uh, Python, Java, JavaScript, and HTML, and also a way to bridge between Scratch and into those actual code languages as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as the competition, the main ones would be like say Tinker. Um, I think there's a Codable and
CodeSpark.
CodeSpark. Yeah, that's the one. They're all, and the other problem with those are they are priced well above where we're targeting. Um, so we're trying to make this as accessible as possible, and therefore it has to be uh, way cheaper than what we saw on their websites.
Yes.
And to also, oh, sorry, go ahead, Lloyd.
You,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
go
I was
ahead.
going to say, to add up to that, the initial phase that we're going to have will be accessible and free to all. As we build onto it, we are going to, of course, add up additional tools. But the initial one that we are bringing out there will be free for all.
Okay. Okay. So what what ultimately is going to be your business model for Code?
So what we're so as we get into the market, we're as you mentioned, gonna give it to for free with the Scratch early adapters.
Mhm.
But as we start to move into the Python, into the HTML, and um, the more developed systems or languages, what we're going to do is actually charge a subscription for those. And
Mhm.
it's going to vary because, we're looking at teachers, and teachers don't necessarily have budgets. So what we're also looking at is as individuals, homeschoolers, and um, different types of schools, we're going to
Mhm.
approach them with based on the school size and based on uh, reasonable. I guess what's reasonable in those cases, we're going to have our price point set, but those are still being discussed and decided.
Mhm. Yeah. So this is a kind of a loaded question. Have you all came across any ed tech programs yet?
Can you repeat that question?
ed tech programs that's for people in you all space educational technologies.
Have we come across any ed tech programs?
Yeah, yeah. So like so organ corporations that support startups in the ed tech space.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we mentioned earlier NSF. When we went through their customer discovery, they also have grant programs as well for edtechs.
Hmm. Okay.
NASA is also one, but they are partnering with SBIR. Um,
Hmm.
Along with the NSF. And there are grants out there that do support edtechs startups. Mostly grants, I would say grants and perhaps also competitions.
Hmm.
But as early as we are VCs and angels, I would say right now, maybe a little bit out of reach.
Yeah. So the so part of the reason why I was asking that question is when you look at that chart I showed about all this ecosystem stuff. So what you have to kind of think about that there are ed tech accelerator programs. So there are like AT&T has a Aspire program, and I found out that I think AWS has an ed tech program as well. And so so the idea is you align yourself with those type programs, and as you grow and make progress, you can maybe get into some of those programs that are specifically for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a local company we haven't talked too much about. It's called Digital Sandbox, which is
Okay.
a great resource. At least I know it's Kansas City based,
Hmm.
aligned to UMKC, and um, great for digital products, especially ed tech, because they have had a lot of um, ed tech companies come through.
Hmm.
That's been our main source of learning how to approach our local market
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. And so yeah. So like one of the things I would probably suggest as you um, do like a Google alert for ed tech and ed tech accelerator programs, and so you can make sure you don't miss out on any of those those things. And so it sounds too like your so once you do start selling, so tell me again about what you're thinking about, how you're thinking about charging like a subscription fee, or what you think you are going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be in form of subscription fee, and that is based upon what we've heard from the customer discovery that we performed. So we a question that we asked was to just have an idea of how much a school will typically spend on a software that we use to teach, and how comfortable are the teachers and the school administration understanding their budgets and understanding what's actually is allocated, and
Hmm.
that's how we were able to start working out pricing. I won't say there is a set price yet. It's definitely still in the work, but that's how we are coming up with pricing.
Yes, yes. So the yeah, and so I think for startup founders, when you're in a certain space like this ed tech space, what what I've learned is like when you listen to these different pitch competitions of other founders that are in this ed tech space, and that's how you can learn what their revenue models are, and do have a better idea of what you should do for your revenue model. And we have some founders down here in the ed tech space, and so like the so it's just understanding how the so like if you're going to target some schools, you know um, so how does stuff get actually funded at these schools,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
starting to um, um, learn learn that. I'm trying to think of what the term. So like for let's say they're in Kansas City or the state of Missouri, you can Google to 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 see how much money
Mhm.
spent per child, in the school system, and they break it out, by different codes, for like high school, middle school, and the elementary one, and then so you can actually um, once you understand how they fund stuff, and then you can build your revenue model around that understanding. So like
Yeah.
here, yeah, so like here in Florida, like let's say for high school students, that for each county the average is probably over $7,000 per student. And then like um, when you when and so like so the question is how much of that budget can you actually get? You see
Yeah.
what? So
Yes, yes. I think I follow you there, Lloyd. And one thing, one thing that we learned from the process is the way a public school budget works is completely different than the way like a charter and private school budget will work.
yes. Hmm.
And we are trying to be as niche as we can. I mean, just the starting point would be niche, and we're
Yeah.
looking something either. I mean, we're looking charter and private is kind of what we're doing right
Gotcha.
now. And that is a completely different beast when you compare it to a public school, in regards to like funding and things are available. Along the way, we also learned that there are grant opportunities for
Hmm.
schools to purchase softwares. So a
Good.
school may not have the possibility or the funding to get a new software to help in their classrooms, but there are grants there that they can apply to that will allow them to get this type of thing. So yeah, there are definitely things that we're looking into.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's kind of what my challenge to you all is to just make sure you keep asking until you get to the bottom of that. And so so are you looking at your software as part of a computer science class, or are you looking at it, is it for some remedial learning or additional learning, and and just kind of understanding the different pots of money, and um, and the approach for doing it. So like let's say if like here in Escambia County, if there's like $7,000 per student, and we got students that are falling behind or don't know this stuff, maybe we can allocate, for some software learning program, we can allocate $50 or $100 or $200 per student per year. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or if they want to make sure the students learn coding, they may be willing to spend $100 per student, per year.
Mhm.
You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? If not even more.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's I mean definitely something we're learning along the way, understanding their budgets, and also how important it is to them because a private school, for example, more than likely will be able to afford a higher fee than say like a charter school. So
Okay.
being able to see, okay, so this is going to be our target and this is what we're going to go with.
Hmm. Yeah. So let's take this question here versus has another question.
um our team, yes. So in addition to myself and Cedric, we also are working with a teacher that is a computer science teacher. He's I believe, 5 to 8 computer science teacher for a local school here in Kansas City. So we have been working along with him and the school to really understand how can something like this benefit their school and get feedback directly from the students along with the teacher as well. Throughout the process, he's been able to help us understand, okay, this is how curriculum will look like, this is how lesson plans will look like. So we have him on our team. And we also have a former superintendent as well that we've been working with that's been helping us understand um, the actual educational aspect when it comes to getting money and how to penetrate into a school and how to understand the budgeting. When do this decide what software to bring in, what time of the year? So we do have that person on board as well. So I'll say mostly educational partners, not as much as marketing and financial right now.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty pretty neat there.
Whoops. Yeah, I was just gonna tack on that. Yeah, the marketing and financial are probably the places we could use the most. Just to clarify that.
Yeah. So when you say like the financial, what do you really mean there?
Well, as we go, so we have kind of a stacked go-to-market strategy, as I think you
Hmm.
were asking about there, where we are entering with the free version of our platform, and then uh, progressing. Once they start learning the basic Scratch
Hmm.
language,
Yeah.
um, we're looking to also take them out of Scratch, and what that means is
Yeah.
basically teach them the skills that they need, and that's the thing that we want to start charging for,
Yeah. So
and
gotcha.
having that, you know, I guess making the brand something that more people are aware of. Our real plan is to use the traction that we get from the free providers at this point. Hopefully, they will talk to each other and say, "Hey, this worked," and outside of that, I think having someone to actually market this would be a big help to us as far as for sales question.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So like I will pass this along. Because there's uh, that's really the biggest challenge. Is coming up with that revenue model. And so the two that I use with my startup is called Startup Financial Model, and so startupfinancialmodels.com, and that software I used to pay like $29 a month. Now it's actually free. The that and so it's basically you can actually see how many people you can convert from the free version to the paid version, but it's the most comprehensive financial model software you can use to create a financial model for your startup. And so
That's
I joke that their tagline is they have their software has over 860,000 calculations in it, and it literally walks you through the whole thing of building a. You get everything you need to, um, including a cap table and everything. It's unbelievable. Yeah, yeah. From staffing plans to you name it, it's pretty intense. But yeah, the so like so when you're so what kind of feedback you have been getting on the pitching that you have been doing?
It's been uh, it's been interesting. So we started out with a few pitches. As we go, we're always looking to improve on it. But
Mhm.
I think the very first time out, we won with visible hands
Yeah.
competition, and then some of these competitions were getting skipped right to the final round, which is interesting. I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, we were asked to go to
oh
New
yes,
York
New
in
York.
a day's notice to pitch with like 6 people.
Okay.
Um, it's interesting because yeah, I feel like we're kind of thrown out there really fast
Hmm.
by you know good application writing, and
Yeah.
you know some of the competitions are like, yeah, we love it, but this one was they're farther along, they got more traction. Some of them are like, we don't understand the like some element of it, like how are you going to bring more diversity into the field? We've heard that. So it's just good feedback though, because it just says that we aren't articulating some of what our plans are very well.
Hmm.
But yeah, totally a mixed bag though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what are some things you've been hearing, trying to feel from the feedback? Who's been resonating with you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was second on what Cedric said there. Um, Definitely, when we first started, we were put in the midst uh, with people that are much, much more advanced
Yeah,
than pre-seed. And so we will compete against people that already had, I mean, revenue, and
yeah.
we were pre-seed. So that was pretty challenging. So the feedback that we got was to be able to generate out of revenue or getting letter of intent
Okay.
from actual schools going to be extremely helpful. So those were things that we've heard, and we started pretty broad,
Yeah.
and that was just touching all schools, so like public, private, and charter. And we then later decided to narrow it all the way down to charter schools. Um,
Hmm.
that way, we have a much niche market that we can talk to, um,
Hmm.
and help us perfect outpitch much better.
Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah, when what I see is like if you kind of know what I call it the low hanging fruit, your best opportunity to get some sales, and doing the customer discovery, you kind of find out who is most hungry for what you have, and sort of focus on that particular market, and then you can expand to the rest of the market. But
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So like so yeah, if I were you, I would definitely find every, listen to every tech pitch you can find, and just kind of see how they're articulating their their business model, and because really, the what they're looking for is clear understanding of how you make money, and your understanding of the market you're in, that you're gonna make that money. And what I see, listen to a lot of ed tech pitches, and I even saw like a superintendent guy not even pitch it, in ed tech stuff, not even pitch it correctly, to kind of get this the support. But so like so your your thing is you have to totally get what the situation is in the school, what problems the teachers are having, if they don't have anything, and you're providing them something to have. And it sounds like you're creating lesson plans, which so they don't have to worry about that. And I don't know. So does the teacher has to be a program to teach what you all are doing? Yeah, that,
I'm
so
sorry.
does a teacher actually have to be a coder to teach you all's lesson plan?
No, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're fine. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we made it so easy and so simple that a teacher can just take our lesson plan and run with it. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah. So how would you pitch that? So right, like you say, well, right, in a lot of school systems, the teachers are not programming. Well, we make it really easy for them to teach coding. They just grab our lesson plans. We got everything right there. That's all they need.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And right now, it is from our customer discovery, is taking teachers 2 to 4 hours to be able to put together their lesson plans. And when our platform, they will be able to do that in less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
So this is something that we are pushing hard and have also been able to see success with it through the boot camps that we have been going to as well. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's another, you can leverage the boot camps to kind of, so or experiment with the students as well, and test some of these things. And then you said we've been testing our product at these boot camps, and also with the teachers with the lesson plans, and so all this stuff is just validating that you have something going for. Let's see what Pat's question is. Yeah. Okay. So have y'all did the million cups yet there in Kansas City?
I actually have not heard of 1 million cups yet.
You passed. You're right there where the headquarters is.
Right?
Yeah. So so 1 million cups. I just think so. Like every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock in cities all across America. I don't know if it's outside of the United States. I guess I should know that, but I don't know. But people are actually doing presentations on their ideas and getting feedback from the local ecosystem.
This is great info. Definitely, we're definitely going to check it out. And talking about getting feedback, when our first pitch was when Visible Hands, first pitch ever. We actually just went in there just to practice, really.
Yeah.
The goal was not to win anything. It was just to get feedbacks. And it just ended up being successful. But yeah, we definitely do participate in other pitch competition to hear out how people are presenting their ideas, and if there is an opportunity for us to pitch and get feedbacks as well, we definitely seize those type of opportunities too.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what, like, so even like the platform hopping, you can they're using that for pitch competition and demo days, and then I guess this I think Visible Hands is actually using another platform for their demo days now. I think the name of it starts with an S, like Stunt or something like that. But you can get on their list, and then you can just when you have time, just watch the people pitch, but I would say like I said, find the ones that are the ed tech ones, and learn from that, because the judges are going to be asking you those questions, and if you have a good understanding, so like we have a couple of founders, and so they're starting to understand that this money that's available per child, and like even for after school or remedial programs, leveraging some of that funding that's already there, that they don't have to take out of any other budget, because they have the budget for that, and just being able to understand that kind of stuff and articulate that stuff, and then being able to make those connections with those things. So what I hear so far is that I'm just thinking in my mind, like let's say you have some data, like the teachers, why aren't they teaching kids how to code in school? Is it because they don't have enough teachers that know how to code? We take that problem away from the teachers. We provide all the lesson plans, so it's just you understanding that and pitching it in a way that people see what you have is desirable. Somebody actually will want it, and and so we know it's feasible as well. And then the viability of it, it's just making sure you have a good business model that actually that is actually sustainable. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely a challenge and a work in progress. But the judges want to hear certain things, and if they don't hear them, they're going to ask you the questions. Or they're going to but so like you all uh, have been invited to that Lean Stack training, that we offer to start on the blog. But when you go through there, the foundations training, and then the second playbook or training is um, the business model design, and then that's the part that actually helps you understand how to pitch your idea, and it has the Lean Canvas tool, but it also has this um, we call it traction roadmap, but it's basically a customer factory. So when you use that tool, the customer factory tool, and you it's modeling your ability to onboard customers in order to reach your the amount of money you want to make in 3 years, your
Mm-hmm.
success criteria. And so once you see that your model for that customer factory actually works well, and then that's what gives you the confidence in your pitching when you're actually pitching your idea. So we can say, well, the customer factory say, we charge this much, and and we're targeting this market, and we can onboard this percentage of them, and so we can attract this many people because we need this many people to make $10 million a year. And once you see that, it's actually it's a simple to me. It's a simplified financial model where you only have seven numbers that you have to plug in there, whereas the startup financial model, it has 860,000 calculations. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's like a back of the envelope calculation that the judges actually use when they're trying to decide on whether they're going to go with what your idea is to see if your idea is really viable. So get started on that training. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's definitely, that sounds like a good resource for us to take a look at for sure.
so and a little simple feedback, that I actually kind of see a little bit is that whenever we were talking about your financial model, and then when you hesitate a little bit, the judge is going to see that hesitation as it's not really totally getting and understanding, the deal for moving forward, um, and getting more customers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's. Let me see. Can I? So you all got any things you all want to share before we get off here? Any parting thoughts?
Um, I would say this has been definitely a great platform for us. Our first ever podcast, so this is awesome. So
Okay.
we definitely appreciate the opportunity and the live feedbacks. Definitely going to go a long way with us.
Yeah, and yeah, I think. Uh, what about you, Cedric? Any parting comments about your journey, or takeaways, what you want to recommend to some of the founders out there?
We can hear you, Cedric.
Of course. First, turn off the mute. But yes, it's been definitely helpful. I'm glad people participate in the chat because yeah, we're gonna probably look at that, um, these links tonight. And then the biggest takeaway from the journey, from experience, has been that customer discovery wise, I'm glad we circled back and did that activity because if we didn't, we probably would have developed a product that no one would want. But after going through those activities, talking to people, getting out of the building, if you will, we learned so much and realized where the problems are, uh, and how we can contribute to solutions. So anyone that's out there developing something without talking to your potential customers,
Not good.
don't do it.
Don't do it. And yeah, this was a feedback we got. We pitched, and one of the feedback we got was related to customer discovery, and that was just our moments. Like, okay, you know what? We have been talking to people, but you need to also ask the right questions to really understand the customer's pain point and understand things that you can create that will be a gain for them. Um, that was something that we got as far as feedback, and that has been extremely helpful. And without that, yeah, it would just be creating something that's no one cares for. So it's extremely important to go through the process. It's there for a reason. I think, as developers, sometimes you can get carried away. Yeah, I have this great idea. I'm just going to go ahead and build it. I'm sure everyone will buy it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your case.
yeah, yeah. I just put that startup financial model thing in there, and also I put in the link for our event for next week, and so like, but yeah, that I agree with those takeaways. You all are saying there, but the good news is just being able to participate in these programs. You actually learn stuff, and these programs are out there, and so the trick is literally how do you get in these programs. And yeah, so let me copy you all's contact information. I apologize, I didn't see that in there.
I actually just added that there. But yes, I mean, getting into this program is just apply, and uh, myself and Cedric right now, we are looking to getting into a local EdTech Accelerator program here in Kansas City. We believe that's going to be extremely helpful. So it's apply, and but before applying, really is making sure that you do have the right information on the application, so that at least increase your success rate. And getting a mentor has been helpful to us, so definitely will advise getting one if you don't have one already.
Yeah. So my takeaway from talking to you all today is that advice on that you all got on how to fill out the applications, because like in my startup journey, I filled out so many applications, but I didn't have a clue what I was answering, and just by grabbing a mentor or being in a program that actually provides you a mentor, um, um, would be great. And I think the second thing is that we met each other in the Goody Nation thing, and that's so goodynation.org. That's a thing that provides a lot of resources and that accountability stuff to kind of keep you moving forward. And yeah, so it's just no good being out there by yourself.
Well,
Yes, and I think the last thing I would say for you both, and I told you all this a while back, is when you all are two technical co-founders, and the product you're building, you all have some technical background there, and you're getting the advice from the teachers and stuff on how to do this. And so when the people, judges, or people like to see that kind of background, and then and to me all that's left is like you tie your story into your understanding of the problems that you're solving, and then and how you're actually making it easy for coding to be taught in any school. And so you have to say the things that resonate. You know, you know, everybody wants to teach coding, but the problem, a lot of teachers don't know anything about coding, so they can't teach it. And so we're going to solve that problem. We're building a product, that they don't have to know how to code. We give them everything they need, to get going. And so the last part y'all got to figure out is understand perfectly how you're going to get paid, and how the money flows, from that. And once you get that understanding of that, you can pitch what you're doing and get the help you need to kind of keep moving forward. Yeah. All righty. So, so we definitely appreciate y'all coming on and sharing your story. It's definitely always a big help to see, real people, building, real stuff and willing to share their experiences.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for
All
having
right.
us, Joy.
All right. Thank you all. And I'll see you all next Monday in the weekly huddle.
Yeah.
The accountability huddle from Goody Nation. So let's give a shout out to Joey Womack and Goody Nation. That's really been helping us all, move forward quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you all, and we'll see you all next time.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.